Welcome to Two Bottles Deep. We're a podcast where we venture into the world armed with humor, sarcasm, and a willingness to admit when we're wrong. Well, most of the time.
And our goal is to have open and honest conversations while we discuss topics that affect us as humans and as gay men.
And thank you so much for listening. And now it's time to get Two Bottles Deep.
Hey, Phil.
Hello, Wes.
Hello. It's another week.
It is.
We've survived.
Oh,
as we
sounds
keep
like
going on. Yeah, barely.
What's happening?
Oh, I'm great.
Really?
Barely surviving.
You seem like you're not.
I-
Did you have a bad week?
No, it wasn't a bad week. It's just crazy. You know,
Yeah.
busy.
Yeah, everybody's busy. We're all busy.
I know it's busy. It's a busy time. It's a busy world. But I'm gonna tell you what was not busy and what was not hectic or crazy was Ellen DeGeneres at the Ryman Auditorium. She's doing her final tour.
Oh,
Yep. Needs a little bit of cash.
no desire to see her.
Yeah, I remember us all being out and about one Sunday afternoon. I was so excited because I bought 2 tickets. So I'm like, oh, someone will go with me. And I announced it to the group, and y'all gave me a death stare. Everybody's like, I will never go see her. And I'm like, oh, this deflated very quickly.
I think she's funny. I just don't think she's worthy of the money that the ticket for Ellen. Like she's proven to be, pretty hateful, pretty hard to work with, especially a member of our community acting like this. Like, come on, like you're supposed to be a good example.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to give her my money, but I bet she's hysterical and
she did a great job. It was a great skit. It was a great hour and a half she did. And she's filming 2 days later. She was filming her stand-up special in some city, but she did a night here in Nashville at the historic Ryman.
How was it?
It was really good.
Like hysterical,
like really funny.
Okay.
Not as good as like an Anthony Jeselnik or Cedric the Entertainer. Her comedy is more stories. She talked about cars a lot. She talked about people hating her. And she just has this way of making things funny.
Yeah.
Even though it's like, okay, it's a car. How can you make that funny? But you got to watch it. It's so funny. It's so great.
I'll watch it.
But she did get a lot of bad PR.
Yeah, she did.
I'm sure she's standoffish, but
well,
anyway,
good.
it was like one of those people I just wanted to see, I think, in person. But I did that.
Well, I was up in Charlotte, North Carolina, a couple weeks ago to visit Omar Lopez.
Oh, Omar.
Good old Omar.
Love him.
Me too. Omar and Justin. Omar's one of my best friends in the world. And he and Justin are together and they moved to Charlotte. So I went up for Charlotte Pride, second year. And every year they've done a brunch. Last year they did this really great brunch at their house. And this year they moved that brunch to a brewery owned by, I think it's owned by a gay. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that. But anyway, it doesn't matter. They went to a brewery and had this fabulous brunch. So much fun. But one of the best parts that came out of that weekend was Justin and Omar gave me this little hostess gift on my bed when I got there. It was so cute. Water and Alka-Seltzer, Advil, just anything you might need on a weekend. And in there was this cute little journal.
It's adorable.
It's so cute. And I was like, I took it upstairs and I was like, I love this. Let's see what we're going to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And Justin made the comment, something about secrets, like writing secrets in it. And I was like, this is the best idea I could ever think of. So for the last month, I have been taking this little book and I go up to people and I would say, this is my book of secrets. I would like for you to write in it any page you want. You don't have to put a name. Just make it a good secret. So, I would like to read to you some of my favorite secrets. And I'm not saying names, so I'm not giving away anything. So, little background music here. Let's see. Where's my background music?
On this edition of Phil and the Ville.
Okay.
It's like story time.
I took acid one time and pulled my pants off and humped a tree. I had sex for money. I really needed it. I was desperate. Do I have any regrets? Not at all. What's done is done. I did a good job and I got paid for it. Would I do it again? Hell yeah. I definitely would have. And you know what? I needed this. Thank you.
Oh, it's like like therapy in a bar.
Yeah. In elementary school, all of the other kids went on trips for spring break and would come back with beaded cornrows. My family had no money, so we didn't travel. To make me feel better, my mom took me to downtown Atlanta and had my hair braided. I told everyone I went to Destin. ... I've never been to Destin. This is one of my favorites. I lied about how our dog died. I ran over it drunk and blamed the neighbors. All right, this one's a little long, but I appreciate this guy standing at a bar writing this. I was dealing with a really pretty female. I mean, pure beauty. We were dating for about 5 months. I took her out multiple times, had amazing sex. It almost felt too good to be true. Long story short, she went behind my back and had sex with her ex, LMAO, and she ended up catching an STD. Thank God I didn't catch anything. But when I found out, I beat up her brother and her father.
This is probably the best day ever. Oh, this is brilliant. You're going to need a bigger book. This is, you're onto something right here, right now.
What kind of day I've had. I just reach over and get my book of secrets and start reading it. And I'm like, I'm good. Ain't nothing to worry about. We all good.
Yeah. Beating up father-in-law. It's fine.
I love the fact that she got the STD, but he went and beat up the brother and the father.
What did they have to do?
Did
they give it to her? I don't know.
Oh,
that's so wild. I can't follow that. Yeah. I don't know how.
Well, you don't have to. I just thought, I mean, I'm very appreciative of Justin and Omar, of course, for hosting me, but for getting me that. And it was it's such a wonderful idea. People were living for it. Like people would walk up to us at the bar and be like, "Hey, can I use the book for just a minute?" And they disappear and come back and they're like, "I bet you can't guess which one." And then they would tell me which one, which was even stranger.
Yeah, don't tell me.
They would find it and they'd be like, "This is mine, but don't tell anybody." I'm like, now I know it's you. Like,
okay, do you feel you will do that in Nashville, or is it when you're not in Nashville?
That's a very good point and question, because I initially was telling somebody, I was like, I love this for when I travel, because it is a very easy way to meet people. Like, I would encourage people to do that. Like, if you go to another city, just come up with some reason to be involved in people's lives and be like, "Hey, I've got this journal. I need you to write this." 99% of the people will do it. Mm-hmm. No one said no. They might look at it and be like, "I don't really have a secret." And then I'd grab the book and be like, "Get out of my life." But
you're no good.
Yeah. But anyway, that was Charlotte Pride. We had a wonderful time. It was truly perfect just being there with Justin and Omar, and Paul and Justin from Nashville were there too. So just got some good quality time with the boys and had fun.
Good. Yeah. It's all about friends.
Yeah.
It's all about friends, fun, loving, acceptance. What am I saying?
Unclear.
Secrets.
I'm going to play you out in a minute. What have you been up to, babe?
It's too early. I'm going to tell you, speaking of being around friends, my friend John reached out. I have not seen John since 2004, 20 years, Western Illinois University. He lived across the hall from me. So he was in town. He's this great videographer up in Cincinnati now. And got to meet his wife and his daughter. We went downtown to Jack's Barbecue next to Robert's Western World.
I love Jack's.
So good. Great barbecue.
So good.
Y'all, Jack's and Martin's, downtown Nashville. But we got to catch up. And he's like, "Do you remember these pictures from college?"
Oh, no.
None that I will present. It was, I'll show you later, but we reminisced. We had so much fun. We talked about his business, and he's since lost his mother, who was a sweet, sweet lady. And it was crazy to be in this point in our lives. It's like, okay, we're in our 40s now, and it's like, we're kind of losing loved ones, and, people are going through divorces and whatever. And he and I just reconnected, and his wife just kind of sat there and took it in. And it was because we had so much to talk about. And I'm like, "Dude, I'm gay now." And he's like, "You were always really gay."
You're like, "No, I wasn't."
Like, yeah, I'm like, "Bro." He's like, "I always knew." I'm like, "Sure he did, John." No, he did. And it was so amazing. It just made my heart so happy. I haven't posted our picture yet because he's just so great. But I just it's one of those, like, I love to get like sentimental posts. and just be like, man, this guy means so much to me. And we played like softball and at intramurals together. And I remember this time of year too, we're in fall. It's so nice. I remember being in Illinois, and then that's when you'd play like the kickball leagues and the baseball leagues. And it was just like you were in college, you were having fun. Your biggest worry was what party were we going to that night. And that was your biggest worry. And who are we going to hang out with? Who are we going to invite over? What party? So anyway, that happened a couple weeks ago, and it was just so nice.
It's always interesting. People who you went to school with during that time in your life, they're like the most important. It's like the most important relationship ever, right? You're like, we'll be friends forever. We've shared everything together. And then you kind of go, life happens. When you see them again, it's like, it's really nice to get this, like almost like a reboot where it's like, it's almost like you feel immediately reconnected to them. You don't have to build that back. Did you feel like that with him? Like as soon as you sat down, you were like right where we left off. Yeah,
it was him. Yep,
that's
absolutely.
A great feeling.
Because to that point, we'd watch football on Saturdays. We'd go to the fraternity house on Friday nights and Sunday to watch the Bears games. And he would come over, and he worked at the liquor store, so we'd always go in there and get our what did we drink? Keystone and Natty Light. That was like $9.99 for a 30-pack. Oh yeah, college kids like rage on that stuff. And he was bringing up, he's like, remember this party we had? And of course I didn't remember it, but we were just sharing so many memories that it's like, it felt like I seen him last year.
Oh,
and it was just so great.
Good.
Yeah. He was so John, he's an awesome videographer too. So we need to have him come down, shoot some stuff.
Come on.
Maybe Phillip here had a show at Zanies.
Oh my God.
And so maybe he needs to film you, like not
a bad idea.
The behind the scenes, the star in the making.
That was such a cool night for me. It was the first time I actually felt like, okay, this is viable for me. And I'm not making light of the other times I've done stand-up. It doesn't mean that they're less important, but it's at a comedy club, like an actual club that you can say the name and people are like, I know Zanies,
world famous.
And it was so cool because when I got there, there's this huge line. Now, they weren't all waiting for the show I was doing. Okay. There was another stage bigger. But in my head, as I'm walking up, I'm like, excuse me, talent coming through. Sorry. And we get up to the front. I'm like, Phillip, Hedrick. And they're like, are you on the list? They're like, what? Did you get a ticket? I'm like, no, I'm one of the comedians here. But once they know who we were, they take me to a green room. I've never been into a green room. And we're like, and you could drink anything you wanted. The whole fridge is just like teas and coffees and waters. And I'm like, I just had 15. It was like free.
You opened like 8 sodas. Yeah. Yep.
I don't like this one. Can I take some home with me?
Next time you bring a bigger bag.
Right.
There's free granola bars.
Interesting. Oh, they had snacks too, but there was a whole thing of candy, just like Skittles and Sour Patches and all that. I'm like, I can't eat all of this. But I did.
I can later.
But the weirdest thing happened to me though, when I don't know if I told you this. I don't know if it blacked out. I could not remember my set. I had memorized it so many times, like gone over and over and over and over. And I walk out on stage and I see Jason and I'm like, oh, this feels like home. I was like, I'm relaxed. And then I look at the massive crowd and it was just done. Could not even think of the first joke. So I was like, hey, y'all, what's up, Zanies?
Who's having fun tonight?
If you're from Nashville, let me hear you say, hell yeah. They're like, your set is almost over. I'm like, here we go. When I say Nash, you say Ville.
Your whole set's a hype set.
I'm just hyping up for the next comedian. So, but
how'd you navigate that?
I don't know. I remembered a joke, and so I just jumped into one. And then it was kind of calming for me. As soon as I got into the set, it made sense. And I'm more of a storyteller, I guess, like Ellen DeGeneres. And then I just remembered, all right, I haven't told this story yet. So I found a way to like loop back. And I don't think anybody noticed, but in my mind, it was just me up there going, I don't even know what's going on. So it was so fun. I'm very grateful for that experience. Hope there's more.
Yeah. Are y'all going to be back there?
Yeah. There's a chance in November that I'll hopefully be able to be back on that show. We'll see.
Let's go. I heard so many great things. So for y'all don't know, I work with Jason, and Jason is how I know Phillip. And he came to work the next day. And there are people that have not met Phillip that were coming up to Jason's desk like, how was the show? How was Phillip? We wanted to go. So you have that vibe around town already. And Zanies is a big deal to play. The food there too, Zanies Lab. So I like it better than like the main stage. I would rather go to a show at the lab.
No, they've got a new menu. She was
Buffalo
going through,
dip.
yes, the buffalo dip.
Oh, I ate the whole thing on a date. It was great. Well, not a date. We were there.
It's a cool,
like,
it's a cool room. I mean, I was worried that it would be like just like a little, a side annex. There's like 50. I mean, it's a big.
No, it's a big room.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's they pack in there like any comedy club. And I love the layout.
Yeah.
I really, really like the layout. That night I was so sad to miss it, but I saw one of my country icons.
Yes, you did.
Miss Terry Clark.
Hey.
Oh man. And it was great. I took our buddy Mark Logston and we're sitting. I always like balcony seats at the Ryman because it's just a nice look down at the stage. And he works for a company that they produce big artists. So we were sitting there talking. I'm like, okay, well, Terry has a duet with Lainey Wilson. And he was going through his mind. He's like, okay, well, Lainey's off tonight. So maybe she'll be. So the whole time we're like sitting here talking like music. We're like, okay, who's going to come out? You play the Ryman, you always have special guests. First comes out Ashley McBride. We saw her right at the Ryman.
I didn't know I loved her until I saw her at the Ryman.
I didn't know her.
Obsessed.
Absolutely phenomenal. So Terry Clark, for those that don't know, got her big start at Tootsie's back in 93 or 94 and has had many number ones. And it's like some of the new art when the Bro Country came out, she's a female artist. So yeah, it kind of trickled down, but now she's, I guess, on the rise again, but she didn't really ever go anywhere. So now she's redoing her first album with all the hits, and she has all these people coming back to sing with her on the new album.
Oh, I love it.
Lainey did one, and a bunch of people have done stuff. So then the last act, and Mark's sitting there because Mark knows all Lainey's people. He's like, okay, it's not her bodyguard. It's not. He's like, oh my God, it's Trisha Yearwood. And then out comes Trisha Yearwood. To sing, poor, poor, pitiful me, poor, poor, pitiful me. All these boys won't let me be. Lord have mercy on me.
I wish I could sing with you.
Woe is me. Oh, so good. And that's the one where they have a cowbell on there. So Trisha was playing the cowbell. And what I really loved about that show that warmed my heart is her and Trisha got their start around the same time, late 80s, early 90s. And we were close enough we were like second row in the balcony. You can see Trisha whispering or like mouthing to her, I'm so proud of you. Because this was Terry's first time playing the Ryman as a solo artist, which is it's one of the biggest stages not capacity wise, but importance. There you go. Significance, right? And she's like, I'm so proud of you. As they were still singing, she mouthed it to her. And like Terry it was just so neat.
I'm going to do a free plug for the Ryman. If you have not been to the Ryman, and you just get on, find something. It doesn't even have to be something you think you're going to be interested in. They do such a good job. The sound quality is exceptional. It may not be the most comfortable seat you've ever been in. But if you want to fall in love with an artist that maybe you don't know if you like or not, see them at the Ryman.
Go to the Ryman.
I have literally, even country music artists that my ex has taken me to several of them there. And I was like, I don't even know who this is. Literally left with a t-shirt, obsessed with their music, all in. So it's a great way to experience any type of music there. So it sounds like a great experience, man.
It was super fun. Those tickets went on sale, sold out. Like it was one of those things that, because it's only 2,200 seats. And the Ryman was built in the 1880s as a church. And then they added the second level in like the 1920s. So to your point, people were really little back then and a lot skinnier. So you're literally sitting in wooden pews for 3 hours for the opener. And before the show, then the opener, then the break, then the main artist, then the encore. It is uncomfortable,
and they pack you in.
They pack you in.
They're like, this pew will hold 6. We'll get 8.
We're gonna add money, right? Oh my God, it was a really great show, and I just love country music and the history of that place. I mean, all the greats have played there, but now to circle around, it was almost demolished in the 90s. To circle around, RuPaul's Drag Race has been there. You saw Cedric the Entertainer filmed his special there.
Yes.
And I was trying to find you in the crowd. It's the same tape that I watch on Netflix, but I'm like, I try to find Phillip because that's my favorite comedy special. Even before I knew you went. Remember I was telling you about it? And you're like, I was there.
I went with Antoine. I just met him. And it was funny to me because I had just moved to Nashville at the time. And I had never seen Cedric the Entertainer, but I love comedy. And I remember it started at 8. I was there at 7:30. The show started at 9. But no one was there. And I kept being like, where is everybody? We're at the right time. He was like, yeah, it's black people time. Like, they'll get, and literally an hour, and then things start filling up. And then the TSU marching band shows up. I about threw myself off the balcony. It was
phenomenal.
It
Where
was
were you
great.
sitting?
Maybe
You're like facing the stage.
Yeah, not center balcony, a little off to the right, maybe 10 rows back.
Remember when he started playing the white ICU?
Yes.
Made the barbecue joke.
I kept trying to stand up too, so I could get caught on camera, like for no reason. Just woo! Sit down, sir.
I love it. I love it.
Speaking of shows, good shows, I was in New York last weekend.
Ooh, okay, tell me about that.
It was so fun. I went with Jesse and Steve, and it was great. We went to the U.S. Open. I'd never been to a professional tennis match, which I really, really loved it. There's something about being forced to be quiet that makes you really focus on something. Just back and forth and back and forth. And
beautiful day it looked like, too.
Absolutely beautiful. I mean, all you do is, drink honey deuces and watch tennis and stay quiet. It was kind of relaxing.
It's like the days in Newport to the Gilded Age.
Yes.
Watching
very much like the Gilded Age. But we did that. And then we saw 3 Broadway shows, which were phenomenal. We saw Oh Mary, which I would highly recommend. It's not a spoof, but it essentially is Abe Lincoln and Mary Lincoln and their relationship. And Mary Lincoln is played by a guy, and he's a raging alcoholic and it's just very funny. It's one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. Wow. And we saw and Juliet and Titanic. So great shows.
Wow.
But it did have a little drama in New York.
What happened?
So the last night I developed foot drop, which is a condition where a nerve that controls the muscle that lifts your foot and toes, mostly your foot, stopped working. So I'm walking down to New York, and I'm like, I can't lift my foot up. And I'm getting paranoid because I'm like, I'd had a few drinks at this point. So I'm like, oh my God, I have multiple sclerosis and polio. I have both of those, sudden onset, just full on. And I'm trying not to be a party pooper, right? I'm not trying to be like, my leg feels weird. So I'm, trying to go with it.
With the flow.
And I'm walking like a walking horse, high steppage gait pattern. My foot's just plopping. And Jesse's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, nothing. Everything's fine. And then it just kept getting worse and worse. And I fell going up the stairs. I fell, and I was like, this is not normal. I'm not drunk. There's some reason why this foot's not working. So I fast forward till about 1:30 in the morning. It hits me. Jesse and I were having such a good time. We had the Book of Secrets out. We were having fun. And then I start getting in my head about it. So I'm 1:30 in the morning. I'm standing outside a gay bar beside this 300-pound security officer. And I'm crying. And I'm like, I'm 50 years old and I've got foot drop. And he kept going, what are you talking about? What is foot drop? And I was like, it's too hard to explain to you right now, but it's a nerve that innervates my anterior tibialis that helps me with dorsiflexion. He's like, dude, would you just go home? So thankfully, Jesse was great. Jesse took me home and did some treatment and helped me get through LaGuardia Airport without falling too much. So
did you have to get a scooter or something?
No, but I was like,
slow.
I can get on the plane first because I do need extra help. So I really milked that one.
I
was like, look, I can barely walk. Is first class an option?
Heaven will I get on that?
Guess I'll take a drink.
I don't admit, Jula.
So that was random. So now I'm dealing with foot drop. I'm being treated for it by a wonderful physical therapist at Results Physical Therapy. So.
Yeah, that's your place.
Yeah, it's one of the beauties of having 2 clinics. I'm just, all right, who wants to treat me today?
Yeah, that's kind of like a test. I'd be nervous if I was your employee.
I think they were.
Yeah.
They're like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, well, you should know.
Treat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hush your mouth and fix my leg, boo. So,
speaking of dropping.
Uh-oh.
I dropped into Fort Lauderdale for a quick weekend.
Oh, you did.
I wanted a solo getaway, so I went with friends.
I was going to say, I feel like every picture you were with friends.
I was with a lot of people.
Solo weekend? Did you fly by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay,
I went to the airport by myself.
So that part's solo.
Yeah, it was great. But I'm like, okay, I want I want an oceanfront view. I don't want to cross streets to get to the beach. I want to be on the beach. So
She
I
spent
found
some
one.
money on that one.
Well, it's off season, so it's fine.
Yeah.
There was chances of like hurricanes or tornadoes.
Was it 250?
It was fine. Yeah. And it was
did I just guess that?
Yeah.
Really?
With tax.
I should do this for a living.
But normally it's like 350, 400.
Oh, yeah.
And I've flown through Fort Lauderdale, but I'd never been there. And I hadn't been anywhere since February other than Illinois to see family. And I'm like, man, I'm working really, really, really long hours. I'm like, I just need to get away. So I flew on a Thursday and got down there. And yeah, our buddy Scott, who's been on the show, happened to be in town. I didn't know he was going to be there. And so he's kind of snowbirding down there now, bought a condo down there.
Nice.
Yep. And so we went to a bagel shop. Of course, he's like, I'm Jewish. I'm taking you to a bagel shop. So we went to a bagel shop, and then we're standing. Wilton Manor is one of the gayest cities, right? And it was like an older crowd. It was fun. People were very welcoming. And like, oh, where do you live? And I'm like, Nashville. And we were talking. There's a lot of Nashvilles that snowbird down there. Well, this guy comes up to me, and he's like, you may not remember me. And I looked at him. He's like, you came to my house party in Austin, Texas in 2009.
How do people remember this stuff?
I don't know.
2009.
But I looked at him and I said, Aaron. I didn't remember anything else. I'm like, I don't remember the party, but I remember your first name. And it was Aaron. And he was so sweet. He has been there for like 11 or 12 years. And it was the most random
I don't know how you remember this
ever. How I'm like, I don't know. He's like, no, we just got to know each other. I was having a party. I wanted you and your friends to come. You all brought the party. And I'm like, that is very true.
You're welcome.
Still the same. And yeah, he remembered that. And it was fun. It was just a nice outdoors space. Everybody was on patios, and there's a place called Drink, DRYNK. Have you been to Drink?
I've been to Drink.
This patio and have you been to Pineapple Point? There's this, it's a little resort, and
Is that the naked resort?
Yeah.
No.
Well, you don't have to be naked.
Yeah, I can't.
We were there early enough, so it was not crowded.
How many people were naked?
There was no nakedness.
You saw zero naked?
No.
Oh, you did? Did you or not?
No, yeah, we did.
Okay,
yeah.
but like what
resort.
percentage of people were naked?
Like 2.
Oh, 2%?
Yeah.
Should they have been?
No. It's always the one.
Why is that? Right? I'm just like, why can't he be naked?
So yeah, we're sitting there and they're like, you want to go here? It's like, it's a 1-day pass, but you can stay there. It's rooms, resorts, but the lush trees were like, you're in this neighborhood, but then you felt like you're in a rainforest, and people were so nice, and it wasn't gross. It was just people were sunbathing off to the side naked. And I'm like, it was what it was. So this guy comes up and he has an accent, and his name's Bobby. And I'm like, hey,
hello, Bobby.
He's like, yeah, I'm here from Melbourne. I said, oh my God, you come to the US often? He's like, Melbourne, Florida.
Well, he had an accent.
He did.
Was it an Australian accent?
No, okay. It was not. He's from Lebanon. Wherever that's at.
Hey, you know where Lebanon is?
I have no clue.
Well, we talking about Lebanon, Tennessee, or
Lebanon?
Lebanon,
the country.
Yeah, Middle East.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he had a Lebanese accent, and you were like, "How's Australia?"
You come to the States office. Scott's like, "You've got to be kidding me! It's literally 30 minutes down the road." But I didn't know he had an accent. Yeah. He was a dentist, and it was nice. But you just meet the best people.
I'm going to start Googling Lebanese dentist in Melbourne, so I can find out who this is.
Yeah, he's so cute. But it was fun, and we had a great time, and it was relaxing. There was a day I just spent on the beach, and then by the pool. And I don't really even like sand or the ocean, but I got in up to my neck, and then I'm so scared of shark
went all the way up
attacks.
to your neck?
Yeah. And then
How long did it take you to
and then I got out.
Because it takes me about an hour to ease in, especially once you get to the upper thigh area, when it starts to hit your genitals. There's a moment where I'm like, I'm not going to do this.
No, I dipped. So you got out to where it's waist, and I dipped down just to get the salt.
Brave.
And then I got out.
Very brave.
Like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do much ocean anymore with all the shark things I'm saying.
No, there's been a lot of shark attacks this year. And people are shocked. I'm like, well, it is their house.
Yeah.
That we are in.
Yeah.
So I wanted to avoid that. And I avoided it by dipping and getting out.
Well, it sounds like a fun weekend.
It's a fun little trip.
Good. Could you live there?
I've always wanted to live in a beach town. I don't know if there is fine, because I stayed in the tourist area. The pineapple place was in like a neighborhood, because I went into Wilton Manors, which was neat. I don't know. But I do like the salty air. Could you live in a beach town?
I don't know. I talked to some guys in Charlotte, and they had just moved from Fort Lauderdale, and they were talking about just how toxic the community is. But I also think it's who you surround yourself with.
Oh, 100%.
Like, it doesn't mean that Fort Lauderdale is bad.
Hmm.
If you take away the negative or the toxicity, the city itself, yes, I could live there. It's got access to obviously the beach. It's got a good food scene. It's not super duper busy, like except Pride weekends and stuff. It doesn't seem to be like over the top busy. So I could live there.
What do you feel when
Nothing.
people say, cold, cold heart? What do you think? Nothing.
I just said it.
When you hear that, dating's horrible here. Oh, I live in Denver and dating's horrible. Gay guys are horrible. Then everybody says it in every city. And I said, well, listen, it's not that city. It could be who you surround yourself with or where you're putting yourself out there. Because I think you can find the negative anywhere or you can find the positive anywhere.
I mean, if you're telling me that gay dating in Wears Valley in Sevierville, Tennessee is tough, I'm like, yeah, that tracks. There's a good chance
There's
that,
8 people there.
But if you're in Nashville and you're like, dating sucks, yeah, but also dating sucks every major city. You're not going to find anybody that's like, this city is so easy to find love in. Yeah. No one's saying that.
It's hard because I find that so negative. I get if you want to move to a new city to experience stuff, but it's like saying, oh, just the gays are horrible, or the Christians are horrible, or Republicans are horrible. Yeah. It's like, no, find the joy. I've been going on dates again. It's been a long time gone.
It's been a long time coming. What's your latest date?
The other day. It was fine.
Doesn't sound like it.
All gays are. No, I'm just kidding. Dating here is horrible.
But was it like
lovely? It was just getting to know someone. And guess what? If it goes somewhere,
do you want it to go
if
somewhere?
It doesn't go somewhere, it's none of my business. It is what it is.
Do you want it to go somewhere?
Yeah, I do.
Ooh.
Good kid.
He's a good kid.
Good career. I do. There was a normalcy about it, but it was really like just chatting about life and business and travel. Boom.
Is there a next date set?
Yeah, next week.
Good.
Oh, the follow-up. Do you feel that?
All right, before we get too late, I want to talk about two things. Unless you've got something
I just want to put this out there because everybody's like, are you guys like getting so many emails about guys that want to meet you because you have a podcast?
No.
And I'm like, the complete opposite.
Yeah.
Has happened. I think that's why we started this podcast. Yeah, we want to help people. We want to talk. But it was like, oh, we're going to get DMs out the wazoo. And now it's like, no, is this going to be on the podcast when I'm on a date? I'm like, now it will be.
I just don't tell anybody.
Daryl. I don't know. They look us up. I don't tell people. They look me up.
I don't want them to be surprised. I want them to be surprised. They're like, oh, you're busy. You do this. Yeah. And all of a sudden they're like, whoa, you didn't tell me you had a podcast. I'm like, well, there's a lot of stuff you don't know about me.
Though. I don't.
It's the billboard, I think.
It could be overlooking Bridgestone Arena. Yeah. What are we?
I had this crazy. Yes, I need you to hear this. So this happened last week or maybe 2 weeks ago. So there's a pastor in Watauga. I don't even know how to say it. Watauga, Texas. His name is.
This is going to go south.
Dylan Oz. He's a preacher at the Steadfast Baptist Church in Watauga, Texas, and Pastor Dylan was very upset that some Christian churches were affirming the LGBTQ community, or as he called them, sodomites and sexual predators. He's even more upset that pastors even allow queer people to speak from the pulpit. So I just want to let you hear a little bit about this. Is his sermon.
So they're literally just admitting their heart, like, we're here behind the pulpit so that we could defile children with our message. That's where we've gotten as a nation by being nice to sodomites. First it was they can get married. Then it was they could have all equal rights. Then it was, well, we could have drag shows out in public. Then it was, well, we could take children into the drag shows too. Then it was like, well, we could allow homosexuals to attend church.
Allow.
Then it was, well, we can now let drag queens attend church. Now there's behind the pulpit.
Ooh,
why? Because of nice guys like Andy Stanley that won't say what needs to be said, which is that these should get a bullet in their brain. Right. That they should get the death penalty, not be preaching behind the pulpit.
Pastor Dylan, I just want to talk to you for just a moment.
Philip's got something to say.
Are you kidding me with this?
Starbucks.
I mean, I wonder, they don't show how many people are in his congregation. And by the people saying, yay, it sounds like 3 fat men.
It sounds
Like, it just-
like one of those single
Yeah,
wide
like,
churches that
He's
have
in a
20.
strip shopping center.
That's it.
He's redone it from an old vape store.
That was my first thought when
and
I
he's
heard that.
he's got a camera and a YouTube page. And he's just trying. He's
Oh, he
grasping for, well, he has to. I mean, he's posting this kind of stuff. But I mean, the fact that anyone can hear that and clap and still say that you went to church and heard that is shocking to me, that is still occurring in churches. In churches, I understand if you're like at an event where, you know, it's like rednecks against queers or something. Like, yes, preach away. But you are purporting to represent our Lord and Savior by saying that the F word, that we should be shot in the head.
That's so weird.
It's so strange.
It's kind of like that pastor years ago wanted to put us all in a fence and make us die. And then the guy that was interviewing, like, his people were like, okay, well, they're born every day, so there's going to be more born. No, it won't happen. Like, they're not born. It's a choice. So you cage us all up, we die. There's still gay people. I just don't understand why there's so much hatred for people that you're not around. Like, this is not like, they are the cancer to society. That clip is the cancer to society.
You know, he has a faceless Grindr profile.
That maybe could be the guy from last episode that was.
There is no way he does not have a Grindr profile. This is the type of man who's so against homosexuality because he's so convicted in the fact that he could not ever be anything like that, but he watches, you know, gay porn.
He's probably like a dom top.
Oh, in his mind he is.
Yeah. Yeah. Or
a Nelly
bottom. Yeah. When you have that much hatred for someone, you're going out of your way to preach to 3 people, because that congregation is not big. You can tell by the sound.
You hear 3 claps.
Yeah.
Unless the other 1,000 were just stunned into silence, which I doubt it.
That and politics. I don't know why that you're supposed to preach the word of the Lord and Bible verses and uplift people and let them make their decision.
Yeah.
I don't understand someone that hates our community so much it doesn't want us in heaven, that spends their time on earth like spewing hate. It's not going to get you anywhere.
And what kind of God does it say that you worship if you're saying because they believe differently, they should be shot? What kind of God does that say that you're believing in? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's so weird. That's why a lot of churches are dying that way.
Yeah.
And the ones that are persevering, it's not that they have to be okay with trans people, gay people, the LGBTQIA plus. It's fine if you don't understand it, but you preach love and you go on your way.
Yeah.
You leave church, you go your way to a Sunday brunch, wherever, and you go your way to the park. And we can be collective in a house and get the message. And a quote could mean something different. The same quote can mean something different for you and for me, whether it's from the Bible, Abe Lincoln, whoever, you know?
Speaking of trans people, there's one more clip I want to play for you. This is Donald Trump. He was had a conversation on stage at the Moms for Liberty event last week. And this is what Donald Trump said about what's happening in schools right now. This is a particularly favorite.
The transgender, well, think of it. Your kid goes to school and comes home a few days later with an operation. The school decides what's going to happen with your child. And, you know, many of these childs 15 years later say, what the hell happened? Who did this to me?
That is so fun. He talks about fake news a lot. That is the epitome of it.
First of all, Donald Trump, it's many of these children, not many of these childs. But also, who is listening to that and being like, yep, that's exactly right. That happens every day.
I really think his followers are just so proud.
He's saying what he believes
of that, and they don't want to lose. They don't want to backtrack. You know, when you support someone for so long and then they're being a complete idiot,
absolutely,
and not making sense, you don't want to look bad. It's like, well, I still support them, because they're so proud of themselves for supporting someone because of I don't know, the economy or whatever they do, and they're still living in a trailer. It just makes no sense. I don't see how. In the beginning, I'm like, man, this guy's not going to lose because of where Joe Biden's at. Now I don't see him winning.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can only vote for the border when you see the rest of the rhetoric that he is throwing out there. This literally does not happen. They're spinning the two books in the library that might be controversial, they're spinning it all into
Yes.
cutting penises off and adding vaginas. It's not happening.
If you're running for student body president and you make wild claims that are false, it doesn't really affect anybody. I mean, when I ran for class president, one of my running things was that I was going to put a Coke machine in every hallway and that I was going to extend the 10-minute break to 15 minutes. I had zero control over any of that, by the way. No way I could have gotten that accomplished. But that was a lie. Like, I couldn't do it. And it never affected anybody. This is a man who is sitting on stage and telling, and he knows it's wrong. He knows for a fact that this is wrong. And he's saying it because he's trying to stir the pot. So when people ask me why I don't vote for Trump, one of the reasons is he is trying to pit people against each other. He's trying to lie to get people on his side. He'll do anything to seem valid and respectful and speak his mind and all. Shut up.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
divisive as all get out.
Anyway, I got off my soapbox on that one.
No, I love the old soapbox.
Yeah.
That is so interesting. It's literally never happened.
Ever.
Kindergarten teacher.
Larry went to school this morning and came home Sarah. Like, what do they?
Larry and Linda.
Oh, come on. All right, babe. Well, it's good talking to you.
Up.
Yeah, it's good talking to you. I hope you have a good week.
Hope your leg gets better. Let's
Thank
work on the
you.
meniscus.
I think
will
it's
stretch it.
unrelated, but I
All
appreciate
right.
that.
Where's the meniscus at?
It's between your femur and your tibia.
Where? Follow-up question.
Yeah.
Where is the
In your
femur and the
leg.
tibia?
It's in your knee.
See,
Yeah.
that's a part of it.
Yeah, you're looking
It's
for
just a
your
little
knee.
bit lower. Where's your foot? What's that?
All right, babe.
All
Hope you have a
right.
good week.
You too. I love you, buddy.
Love you too, babe.
Episode of 2 Bottles Deep. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or have a crazy show idea, email us at 2bottlesdeep@gmail.com or hit us up on the old Instagram.
And we really do appreciate you listening to today's show. And when you get the chance, go back and listen to our other episodes, because Lord knows you have nothing better to do. Got him.